All right, today we are diving headfirst into one of the most mind-bending ideas out there, a place where hard science and consciousness totally collide, the observer effect. We're going to ask the question, are you, right now, actively helping to create the reality you're experiencing? So let's just jump right in with a huge question. What if the world you see around you isn't just out there, existing independently of you? What if your own mind is actually a co-author of your life story, helping to shape what happens from one second to the next? To really wrap our heads around this, we have to start by tackling a fundamental puzzle, what I like to call the reality paradox. It's all about challenging the most basic things we assume are true about the world. I mean, think about it. From the moment you get up, everything feels solid, right? The floor's under your feet, the coffee cup in your hand is, oh, it's a cup. It all seems so predictable and real. This sense of solidity is our baseline. It's our default setting for how reality works. But what if that feeling is just a trick of our perception? You've probably heard this classic riddle before. On the surface, yeah, it's a simple question about sound waves and eardrums. But it's actually the key that unlocks a much, much deeper mystery. Let's push that idea way further. What if it's not just about the sound? What if the actual event, the tree falling, the definite state of anything at all, what if it needs an observer for it to lock into place as something that happened? That's where things start to get really weird. And, this isn't just some late-night philosophical debate. In the bizarre world of quantum physics, this idea goes from a thought experiment to an experimental fact. And that leads us to a genuine scientific puzzle, the quantum mystery. At the very heart of this mystery is a legendary experiment called the double-slit experiment. Basically, physicists wanted to see what tiny particles, like electrons, would do when they were fired at a wall with two little slits in it. And the results? Well, they broke physics as we knew it. Okay, the results are just bizarre. When nobody was looking, and by that I mean when no measuring device was there to check, the particles acted like waves. They seemed to go through both slits at the same time and created a wave pattern on the back wall. But the instant scientists set up a detector to see which slit a particle went through, its whole behavior changed. Bam! It acted like a tiny marble, picked one slit, and flew straight through. The only thing that changed was the act of observation. And this absolutely strange phenomenon has a name: wave-particle duality. The takeaway here is that, on the most fundamental level, stuff seems to exist as a wave of possibilities until it's measured. The act of interacting with it seems to force that wave to collapse into just one single thing, a solid object in a specific place. And this leads us to what might be the biggest unanswered question in all of physics, known as the measurement problem. What is it about observation? What is it about measuring something that takes this fuzzy cloud of maybes and snaps it into the one single definite reality that we actually experience? Nobody knows for sure. A mystery this big, of course, has led to some pretty radical theories. And maybe the most mind-bending of all suggests the secret ingredient isn't some machine or detector, but the human mind itself. This is the idea of consciousness as the catalyst. So here's the wild idea. Some physicists and philosophers have suggested that the observer isn't just any old measuring device. They argue that it's consciousness itself, our subjective awareness, that is the special force that turns quantum possibility into actual concrete reality. Now, this is a pretty controversial idea in the physics community, but it's an incredible thing to think about. I mean, if you just entertain this idea for a second, it reframes everything. The universe is no longer this cold, dead machine just running on its own. Instead, it becomes a participatory reality, a dance where our minds are somehow fundamentally entangled with the world we're observing. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is all super abstract, quantum lab stuff. But could there be little hints of this principle showing up in our normal, everyday lives? Let's take a look beyond the lab. So, while it's not the same as a quantum experiment, we see these fascinating parallels in psychology. Just think about the placebo effect, where a person's pure belief, a state of consciousness, can create real, measurable, physical changes in their body. It's a powerful example of mind over matter. Or just think about how your expectations completely shape an experience. If you walk into a party expecting it to be awkward, you'll find every awkward moment. If you expect to have fun, you'll probably find that too. Now, you could just say, well, that's just psychology. And you might be right. But some people argue that these patterns are echoes of a much deeper principle. The idea that reality isn't just something we discover, but something we actively participate in creating. Maybe our focus helps pull certain outcomes out of the endless sea of possibilities in our own lives. So what does all this mean for you and me? If our observation really does matter, even a little bit, how can we actually use that idea? This brings us to the practical side of things, embracing your role as the observer. I think the biggest takeaway here is just how empowering this idea is. If your awareness plays any role at all in shaping reality, then you're not just a passenger watching life happen to you. You are an active participant, a co-creator, in the story of your life as it unfolds. So how do you become a more conscious observer? Well, it can be pretty simple. First, just practice mindful observation. Notice things without immediately judging them. Second, try setting a clear intention before you walk into a situation. Decide ahead of time what you want to focus on or how you want to feel. And third, every now and then, just do a little reality check-in. Ask yourself, how is my perception right now influencing what I'm experiencing? Because here's the bottom line. Whether consciousness is collapsing quantum wave functions or not, this much is undeniably true. The way you choose to observe your world directly changes how that world unfolds for you. Your attention is a resource. Your awareness is a creative force. So I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you look at your life, at the world around you, remember, your mind isn't just a spectator watching a movie. It's in the writer's room. It's holding the pen, and it's helping to write the very next scene. Thanks for joining us.